in this technical demonstration, we're going to configure properties for local and shared accounts on our particular systems here. As you can see here, I do have my 4 Windows systems and 2 Unix systems, and then my retired system. Now, what I need to do is I need to create the accounts that exist on those systems so that I can provide or grant privilege to use them. If I look at my account options, this is where they're going to be housed. You'll notice that I do have one account here. This is from my retired system, or that test system we imported earlier. What I need to do now is I need to create a new account. Now, this is done by accessing the system itself. So let's start with the app server. Now, on the app server, we do have an account called Omicron-A. This is a local account that has administrative privileges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add, and we're going to add that account. We'll provide its password, and we're going to click Add. So now I have the account. Now if I look at accounts, I'll have 2 specific accounts listed. But what I also want to do is I want to manage this account. What I mean by that is I want to manage the password. I don't want the password to get leaked out. I don't want it to be compromised. So I want it to be unique, but I also want it to be secure. While I may think my password is secure because I've used complexity within the password scheme, that doesn't mean that it hasn't been written down and shared with others. So how do we correct this potential risk? What we'll do is we'll go into the account itself. And we saw this as we created it. There was an option to manage this password. So what I'm going to do is, before I do this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to right click on the account and I'm going to say checkout. Now you'll see this later on, but so you can see what we have entered in as the password for this account, we'll need to go ahead and check it out. So now you can see that I have show and I have copy. I'm going to go ahead and show the password, and as you can see here, this is the password that I have given it. So we'll go ahead and press close. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to check it back in. Okay, and nothing has changed. The password is still the same. But now I want to manage the password, which means I want the portal to be able to manage that password and provide it checkout and login, secure login permissions throughout the environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on the Omicron-A account. Now, as you can see here, there are some specific notes that apply if we want to provide access or privilege to this account. But what we need to do first, we need to manage it. So I'm going to go over to Settings. And as you can see here, I do have this option. We saw this during the creation process. So I'm going to simply check that box and I'm going to click Save. Now what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to my account. I'm going to right click on the account. I'm going to say Verify Credentials. Now this is just a very simple process to confirm that the verification was done successfully, which means I was able to communicate with the system with those credentials to verify that those credentials are in fact synchronous. Now what I can do is if I right click on the Omicron-A and go back to checkout and say show password, you'll notice that the password has now changed. It is much more complex, and if it's written down and shared, I do have the capability, which you'll learn later, to rotate this password, which will give me the opportunity to change the password periodically so that things such as having it written down and shared will be limited to a very short period of time, if any time at all. In some cases, we can actually have it set to rotate the password on check-in. So I can check it out while I'm using it. The moment I check it in, it's automatically changed. So I'll go ahead and we'll check in this password because I'm not going to use it at this point. So this takes care of our Windows account that we're going to manage. Now let's take a look at the process for a Unix system. It's basically the same. There will be a couple of subtle differences. We're going to go over to the payroll system. And as you can see, I don't have any accounts, so we need to add one. So in this case, I'm going to add the root account. You'll notice the credential type is different than the Windows system. I can either choose password or SSH key. I'm going to go ahead and choose password, and I'm going to go ahead and provide that password. And we'll go ahead and click add. Now again, I can go ahead and manage this password if I choose to. Okay, I can simply check the box and click add. Now that that's been taken care of, let's go ahead and verify those credentials. And I received the successful notification. Now if I want to right click and check out the password, and I show it, once again, it has been changed. This is not the password that I entered because I had a default password that I was using. So as you can see, we can set passwords up to be managed or unmanaged. Keep in mind, when we do an unmanaged password, we still want to maintain its security. As you'll learn later, we can use unmanaged passwords and still have them secure by using secure remote login versus that of a checkout process.